When David graduated from high school, his friends started looking for jobs. Some learned trades. Others started small businesses just to earn a living. But David had a different plan. His childhood friend had moved abroad, and before leaving he had promised David, "Once you graduate, I'll help you come over." David believed him. As soon as he graduated, David called his friend and told him he was ready. His friend told him, "Get your international passport ready and arrange all your documents. I'll let you know when everything is set." David did exactly that. He got his passport. He arranged his documents and kept everything ready. Then he waited. His father advised him, "While you're waiting for your friend, get a job or learn a skill. Don't just sit at home." But David refused. "There's no need. I'm leaving soon," he would say. 1 year passed, then 2, then 3. His friends were moving forward with their lives. But David was still at home, waiting for one phone call that he believed would change everything. Whenever he called his friend, the answer was always, "Be patient. I haven't forgotten you. I'll help you." So David waited some more. Then 5 years passed. During those 5 years, his friend's life had changed. He got married, started his own family, and had new responsibilities to deal with. But David was still waiting for the promise made years ago. One day, his father finally lost his patience. He became angry and shouted at David, "5 years, what have you done with yourself? How long will you keep waiting for another man to change your life? You can't continue like this." David tried to explain that his friend had promised to help him, but his father had heard enough. He told David to leave the house. That night, David sat outside with his small bag beside him, not knowing where to go. He reached into his bag and brought out his international passport. He had kept that passport safe for 5 years, believing that one day it would take him abroad. He looked at it carefully. It had expired. 5 years had passed, and David had not traveled. The passport had expired. But the painful truth was that his life had been waiting too. For the first time, there was no father to provide for him, no job, no money, no friend coming to rescue him, just David. And the life he had spent 5 years waiting to begin. And that was when something finally hit him. His friend had never told him not to work. He had simply trusted a promise, so much that he stopped building his own life. David finally understood. Nobody was coming to save him. And strangely enough, that painful realization became the beginning of his freedom. Because if nobody was coming to save him, then he had no reason to keep waiting. He had to save himself. What if the person you've been waiting for is never coming? Not the perfect employer. Not the rich friend who will give you money. Not the partner who will finally make you feel complete. Not the opportunity that will suddenly change everything. Not the motivation you've been waiting to feel. What if nobody is coming to rescue you? And before that thought scares you, understand this. That might be the best news you've heard in a long time. Because the moment you stop waiting for someone to save you, something changes. You stop waiting. You start moving. Think about how many times you've told yourself, "When I get a better job, I'll start. When I have enough money, I'll begin. When I meet the right person, I'll be happy. When things become easier, I'll take my life seriously. When I feel motivated, I'll finally change." And somehow, that day keeps moving further away. You keep waiting for the perfect moment. But the perfect moment never arrives. Life keeps happening. Bills arrive. People change. Opportunities disappear. Friends move on. Years pass. And one day, you look around and realize you've spent years waiting for your life to begin. That is a painful realization. But it can also become the moment everything changes. Because nobody is coming to save you. And that's actually good. You don't need permission to begin. You don't need somebody to believe in you first. You don't need to have everything figured out. You don't need a perfect life before you start building one. You just need to accept one uncomfortable truth. Your life is your responsibility. not your parents, not your friends, not your government, not your partner, not your employer, not your circumstances. They can help you. They can support you. They can open doors. But nobody can live your life for you. Nobody can wake up every morning and make your decisions. Nobody can do your work. Nobody can control what you do with the next 24 hours. That part belongs to you. And I know that sounds harsh, especially when life has been unfair. Maybe you have tried. Maybe you have applied for jobs and received rejection after rejection. Maybe you have started businesses that failed. Maybe you've trusted people who disappointed you. Maybe you've worked hard and still don't have much to show for it. Maybe you've been waiting for one opportunity to finally change your situation. If that's you, this isn't about blaming you for everything that happened. Some things are genuinely outside your control. Life can be unfair. People can hurt you. Opportunities can disappear. You can do your best and still lose. But there is a difference between saying, "This happened to me," and saying, "This is all my life can ever be." The first one accepts reality. The second one surrenders your future. And you cannot build a new life while believing your current circumstances have the final word. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. Think about that. You may not control what happened yesterday, but you can control what you do today. You may not control who rejected you, but you can control whether you keep improving. You may not control how much money you have right now, but you can control what you learn, what you build, what you apply for, and what you do with your time. You may not control whether someone loves you, but you can control whether you keep abandoning yourself just to be loved. That is where responsibility begins. Not with having control over everything, with accepting responsibility for what you can control. And sometimes, the biggest thing holding us back isn't failure. It's waiting. We wait for motivation, but motivation comes and goes. We wait for confidence, but confidence usually comes after action. We wait for money, but sometimes you have to start small with what you have. We wait for someone to encourage us, but sometimes you have to encourage yourself. We wait for the perfect relationship, but you can still build a meaningful life while you're single. We wait for the right opportunity, but sometimes the opportunity is hidden inside the small thing you keep ignoring. And this is where many people lose years. They don't make a decision because they are waiting for certainty. But certainty rarely comes before action. You learn by moving. You discover what works by trying. You discover what doesn't work by failing. You discover what you're capable of by doing things you once thought you couldn't do. You don't need to see the entire road. You need to take the next step. There is a quote often associated with the idea of taking action. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Whether the goal is getting your finances together, finding work, building a business, improving your health, or changing your life, the principle is simple. You cannot take the 1,000th step before taking the first. So stop looking at the entire mountain. Look at today's step. Maybe your first step is updating your CV. Maybe it's applying for 5 jobs. Maybe it's learning a skill. Maybe it's calling someone who can help you. Maybe it's starting the business with a tiny amount of money instead of waiting until you have everything. Maybe it's finally posting the first video. Maybe it's getting out of bed and creating a routine. Maybe it's admitting that the way you've been living isn't working. That admission alone can be powerful because you cannot change what you refuse to face. Be honest with yourself. Where are you right now? Not where you wish you were. Not where your friends are. Not where your younger self thought you'd be. Where are you actually? Look at the numbers. Look at your habits. Look at your skills. Look at your relationships. Look at your health. Look at your work. Look at how you spend your days. Don't judge yourself. Just look. Because honesty gives you something excuses never can. A starting point. You can't build a plan around a lie. And sometimes we lie to ourselves because the truth feels uncomfortable. We say, I'm waiting for the right opportunity. But maybe we're afraid of failing. We say, I don't have enough money. But maybe there is something small we could start learning or doing. We say, nobody supports me. But maybe we've been waiting for support instead of building evidence. We say, I'm just not lucky. But maybe we've stopped trying. This isn't about pretending that hard work guarantees success. It doesn't. Hard work matters. But life also involves timing, circumstances, connections, luck, and things you cannot control. But you dramatically reduce your chances when you refuse to move until everything is perfect. You cannot win a game you refuse to enter. You cannot get rejected from an opportunity you never apply for. You cannot discover whether an idea works if you never test it. You cannot meet new people if you never leave your comfort zone. You cannot become stronger by constantly protecting yourself from difficulty. And this brings us to something uncomfortable. You may have to save yourself, not in some dramatic movie scene, in ordinary ways. Wake yourself up, teach yourself, apply again, try again, learn again, start again. Walk away from what is destroying you. Stop wasting your money. Stop wasting your time. Stop giving your best energy to people who don't care about your future. Start keeping promises to yourself. Nobody may clap. Do it anyway. Nobody may notice. Do it anyway. You may feel like you're making no progress. Do it anyway. Because progress is often invisible before it becomes obvious. Think about a tree. For a long time, you may see very little above the ground. But underneath, roots are growing. Your life can be like that. You can spend months learning something and feel like nothing is happening. You can work quietly and see no immediate result. You can save a little money and feel like it's not enough. You can improve your habits and still have bad days. Don't confuse slow progress with no progress. Keep going. And don't let social media destroy your sense of timing. You open your phone and suddenly everyone seems successful. Someone bought a house. Someone got married. Someone traveled. Someone started a business. Someone is making money. Someone is living the life you want. And you begin asking, why not me? But remember, you're watching edited moments. You don't see the full story. You don't see their failures. You don't see their debt. You don't see their loneliness. You don't see the years before the photograph. And most importantly, their success doesn't mean your life has failed. You have your own road. Stop using another person's chapter to insult your own. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's the part many people skip. They want to know exactly how everything will turn out before they begin. But you become the person you want to be through the things you repeatedly do. If you want to become disciplined, practice discipline. If you want to become confident, keep taking action. If you want to become financially responsible, start managing what you have. If you want to become healthier, start taking care of your body. If you want to become skilled, start learning. You don't become a different person by wishing. You become different through repetition. And there will be days when you don't feel strong. There will be mornings when you wake up and think, what's the point? There will be nights when you wonder if all this effort is worth it. Those moments don't mean you should quit. Sometimes they simply mean you're human. Rest when you need to. Cry if you need to. Talk to someone you trust. Take a breath. But don't build a permanent home inside a temporary difficult season. Your current situation is not a prophecy. It is a situation. Situations can change. You can change. Your skills can change. Your income can change. Your environment can change. Your relationships can change. Your understanding of yourself can change. But somebody has to start the process. Why not you? And here's the beautiful part about accepting responsibility. You stop feeling completely powerless. When you believe everything depends on other people, you're constantly waiting. When you understand that your actions matter, even small actions become meaningful. You wake up differently. You start asking better questions. Not, who is going to save me? But, what can I do with what I have? Not, why doesn't anybody believe in me? But, how can I build something that makes belief unnecessary? Not, when will my life finally begin? But, what can I begin today? Those questions change your direction. And you don't have to do everything alone. That's important. Taking responsibility does not mean refusing help. Ask for advice. Accept support. Work with people. Find mentors. Learn from others. Build relationships. There is strength in community. But don't make other people's help a requirement for your existence. Appreciate help when it comes. But keep moving when it doesn't. Because sometimes the person you thought would help you won't. Sometimes the friend you trusted will be busy. Sometimes the opportunity you expected will disappear. Sometimes the person you loved will walk away. And you will still have to wake up the next morning. That's life. And that is why you must become someone you can depend on. Seneca wrote, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." That exact wording is widely attributed to him, though the attribution is debated. The deeper lesson is still useful. Prepare. Because you never know when an opportunity will appear. If you spend your entire life waiting, opportunity can pass right in front of you. But if you're learning, building, practicing, saving, creating, and improving, you are more prepared to recognize it. So don't wait for your life to become perfect. Build while it's messy. Learn while you're confused. Start while you're afraid. Save while the amount is small. Create while nobody is watching. Apply while you still feel underqualified. Improve while people doubt you. And when you fail, learn. Then continue. Because nobody is coming to save you. And strangely enough, that is good news. It means your story doesn't have to depend on one person. It doesn't have to depend on one employer, one relationship, one opportunity, one lucky break, one perfect day. Your life can be built through thousands of small choices. One morning, one decision, one lesson, one application, one conversation, 1 hour of focused work, one brave attempt, then another, and another, until one day you look back and realize something changed. Not because someone rescued you, because you finally stopped waiting to be rescued. You became responsible for your own direction. You stopped asking life to make things easier. You started becoming stronger. And maybe that's what you needed all along. Not someone to carry you, but the courage to carry yourself. So if you're stuck right now, don't hate yourself. Don't spend tonight comparing yourself to everyone who seems ahead. Don't waste another year waiting for the perfect moment. Look at where you are. Accept it. Then ask yourself one question. What is one thing I can do tomorrow that will make my life slightly better? Not 10 things. 1. Do that. Then do another the next day. You don't need to change your whole life tonight. You just need to stop abandoning it. Because nobody is coming to save you. And that may be the greatest freedom you've been given. The responsibility is yours. But so is the power. So is the choice. So is the next step. And so is the future. Get up. Start where you are. Use what you have. Take the next step. Nobody may come to save you. Save yourself by finally choosing to move. And one day, you may look back at the person you used to be and realize you weren't waiting for someone to save you. You were waiting for yourself. And maybe that's the truth you needed to hear today. Nobody is coming to save you. But that doesn't mean you're alone. It means your life is still in your hands. You can start again. You can make a different decision. You can learn something new. You can rebuild what you lost. You can become someone your younger self would be proud of. Don't wait for the perfect job. Don't wait for more money. Don't wait for the right relationship. Don't wait for motivation. Start with what you have. Start where you are. Start today. As Seneca said, while we are postponing, life speeds by. So don't postpone your life anymore. Take the next step. Then another. And another. One day, you'll look back and realize that the person you were waiting for was you. If this message spoke to you, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. More importantly, don't just listen to this message. Go and do something with it. Your life is waiting.